Welcome to the lucky country. Today, we're taking flight through history, exploring how Australia, once isolated by vast distances, became a pioneer in global aviation. From daring bush pilots to world-changing innovations, this is the story of how Australians conquered the skies. Aviation in Australia began soon after the Wright brothers made their first flight in 1903. By 1910, John Duigan became the first Australians to design, build and fly his own aircraft. It was a moment of national pride, the birth of Australian aviation. During the 1920s and 30s, aviation became essential to connecting Australia's vast and remote landscape. Bush pilots risked their lives to deliver mail, supplies, and passengers to distant communities. In 1919, Australian brothers Ross and Keith Smith, along with mechanics Wally Shears and Jim Bennett, entered the Great Air Race, a competition offering £10,000 to the first Australians to fly from England to Australia in under 30 days. They flew a Vickers Vimy biplane, a twin-engine aircraft built after World War I. Departing from Hounslow, England, on November 12th, Mandi Matin, they crossed treacherous terrain, deserts and jungles, traveling through France, Italy, the Middle East, India and Southeast Asia, before finally landing in Darwin, Australia, on December 10th, 1990. Their journey covered over 18,000 kilometers, 11,000 miles, and took 27 days, an astonishing feat for the time. It proved that long-distance air travel was possible and helped inspire the growth of global aviation routes. The Smith brothers were knighted for their achievement, and their aircraft, the Vickers Vimy, is now preserved at the Adelaide Airport in South Australia. Their flight stands as a symbol of courage, innovation, and the pioneering spirit that helped shape Australia's aviation history. In 1928, Kingsford Smith achieved what many thought was impossible, the first ever flight across the Pacific Ocean. Piloting his aircraft, the Southern Cross, alongside co-pilot Charles Ulm and their crew, he flew from Oakland, California to Brisbane, Australia, with stops in Hawaii and Fiji. The journey took over 83 hours of flying time and proved that long-distance international air travel was possible. Kingsford Smith went on to break numerous records, including the first non-stop flight across the Australian continent and the first flight from Australia to New Zealand. His skill, courage, and vision earned him the nickname the Wizard of the Southern Cross, symbolizing his mastery of the skies. Tragically, in 1935, Kingsford Smith disappeared while attempting another daring flight from England to Australia, but his legacy endures. He remains an icon of Australian innovation, bravery, and the unbreakable human spirit that helped shape modern aviation. Bert Hinkler was one of Australia's greatest aviation innovators, a daring solo pilot whose determination changed the course of flight history. Born in Bundaberg, Queensland, in 1892, Hinkler built and flew his own gliders as a young man, before joining the Royal Air Force during World War I. After the war, his passion for flight turned to record-breaking solo journeys. In 1928, Hinkler achieved a world first. He became the first person to fly solo from England to Australia, completing the journey in just 15.5 days, an astonishing achievement at the time. His aircraft, a tiny Avro avian biplane, and his precise navigation skills made the feat legendary. Hinkler continued pushing boundaries, pioneering new flight routes, and advancing aircraft design. Tragically, he died in 1933 while attempting another record-breaking solo flight from England to Australia. Though his life was cut short, Bert Hinkler's courage, innovation, and relentless spirit earned him a permanent place among the world's aviation greats, proving that with vision and determination, even the loneliest skies can be conquered. World War II transformed Australian aviation. The nation became a key strategic air hub for Allied operations in the Pacific. Aircraft production, maintenance, and training boomed. After the war, this expertise gave rise to a new era of commercial aviation, one that would connect Australians like never before. In 1920, in the Queensland outback, two former pilots, Hudson Fysh and Paul McGuinness, founded Qantas, the Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services. Starting with small mail planes, Qantas grew into one of the world's most respected airlines. Known as the Spirit of Australia, Qantas became a symbol of safety, innovation, and national pride. Aviation didn't just change travel, it saved lives. The Royal Flying Doctor Service, founded by Reverend John Flynn in 1928, brought healthcare to the most remote corners of the country. Using planes equipped as flying hospitals, the RFDS became a lifeline for rural Australians and remains one of the nation's greatest achievements. By the 1950s, Australia had fully entered the jet age. Airports expanded, air travel became accessible, and Australia's engineers contributed to aerospace technology. Today, Australia continues to innovate, from developing unmanned aerial vehicles to participating in international space projects. The spirit of those early pioneers still flies high in the skies above. From dusty outback airstrips to high-tech hangars, Australia's aviation journey is one of courage, innovation, and vision. A reminder that no distance is too great when you have the will to fly. Thanks for joining us on The Lucky Country. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Where will Australia's aviation take us next?